Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome to Comics in 5 Minutes, kind of. We're not doing a review today. We already have done one, bite size. Go and check out if you'll find it somewhere. I'm doing my best of the year. I've been doing this for a few years now. Just 'cause when I started doing the podcast, it meant I was reading a lot more stuff than kind of like my comfort zone titles, and realised there's a whole bunch of good stuff out there that other people may not know about. So that's not to say this is all indie stuff. I'm not just going to push things which are obscure and cool and hipster. I'm just going to tell you what I've enjoyed. It actually starts the countdown tomorrow. And my countdown is never usually like a set amount. Over the course of the year, I just make notes of things that I like, and then when it comes to the end of the year, I work out which ones I really like and do that many of them. It's actually 10 this year. It's actually going to be a top 10. But that's probably a little bit less than usual because there was the whole, COVID-19 thing. But there's a few things which never quite make the list. Sometimes it's because they were good, but not like just didn't quite make it to the top. Sometimes it's because they don't quite work with the rules, because the rules I put in for this, they're my own rules. I make stuff up. But it has to be something which started this year. It's not a one-shot or a graphic novel or a trade paperback. But that's it, really. So if it's been going for a few years, generally just make it in there. If it's collection, just make it in there. If it's graphic novel, just make it in there. But this year, I am breaking the rule. There's going to be one exception in the best of, but you'll see why when I get to it. So we're just talking about what didn't quite make the cut or didn't quite make it for various reasons. Number one, Fee Escape. So I put my picture me holding. It's absolutely brilliant, but like the description of it didn't grab me when it first came out, which was last year. So I totally passed it by. But then due to some other events have happened this year, the sequel to it, Dark Interlude, totally not a sequel, got a bit more attention, and I thought this actually sounds quite cool. I wonder if I can read Fee Escape. Found a copy, read it, loved it, bought it, got Dark Interlude on my pull list. I don't want to get into a deal about it. It's something that's best discovered on its own, but it is genuinely amazing. It's revelatory, in fact, what it does with comic books and about comic books and about fiction, and the characters are absolutely fantastic. We've also got Killjoys, True Lives Fabulous Killjoys National Anthem, which we're only 3 issues in, and I think if I'd have been like down from the beginning, I probably would have already known how cool it was, but I've never read Gerard Way's original Killjoys, True Lives of Fabulous Killjoys, give it its full title. It's not that I dislike Gerard Way, I really enjoy Umbrella Academy, but sometimes I get a bit like sick of how long it takes him to do stuff. And the more stuff of his I've read, the more I was just like, oh, come on, man, just get stuff done. Umbrella Academy's been consistent more than anything else he's done. But this one, it feels like it's him finally doing what he's always wanted to do, which was literally channel Grant Morrison. It is the most Grant Morrison thing I've ever read, not by him. And it is also one of the most Grant Morrison things I've read since The Invisibles. Clearly clamoring for that. And it does such an amazing job that it goes beyond just a pastiche or a tribute even. It becomes its own thing, building on that base, and it is gloriously good fun. Seriously, check it out. I've got the actual volume 1, Fabulous Killjoys, at home. I'm going to read it, but I'm actually going to wait until I've got to the end of this one, because I think if I know anything that's happened before, it could potentially spoil what's going to be happening, and I like the fact that I'm discovering it raw. It's great. Next, I've got one I've literally only just read like this week, Homesick Pilots, and yes, technically it has started this year, but we're not going to get an issue 2. I don't know if it's going to maintain it, but it is an absolutely superb bit of ghostly haunted house story. It's fantastic. It's inventive. It uses the form particularly well. It's a great read. Artwork is fantastic. It's got a punk ethos, which I really quite like, even though I'm not technically a punk. And I think it's the kind of thing which is going to go on and be absolutely fantastic. I hope it doesn't go on too long. Horror comic books can outstay their welcome, same as like too long horror movies or TV shows. I think you can just do a story and it'll be fine, and that should be everything you need to worry about. Hopefully Homesick Pilots lives up to that. Next, we've got a couple of other ones which I've just been reading for a while. So they definitely aren't out this year, but on some occasions they have got better as they've gone on, and the best stuff has come out this year. Straight off the top of that is Daredevil. It is absolutely freaking cool. Chip Zdarsky, who I didn't really know anything about other than he's kind of a silly guy. I picked up because I like Daredevil. People who know me know that's one of those series where, much like John Constantine, I follow the character rather than the creator, and sometimes I've ended up with some quite bad stuff, but this is brilliant, and it's been a fully formed, long-form storytelling exercise as well. Stuff he started with, he's building on and carrying on doing, weaving in a lot of the background of the world of not only Daredevil, but of Marvel Universe in general. without ever feeling like the crossroads are going on are getting in the way of it. And I've got to admit, my own personal politics come into it quite nicely, and he handles it very, very well, including at one point just bitching at Tony Stark for being a billionaire, which was fantastic. I love that. Once in the Future by Kieran Gillen and Die by Kieran Gillen, both by Kieran Gillen, both excellent stories. Have been going for a while. Die has gotten into I think the tail end of it now. There's not much left to go on this one. And each one that comes out is brilliant. I've mainly looked down because it's dealing with one of the hobbies I'm really into, which is tabletop role playing. But it's also Stephanie Hand doing the art, who's absolutely fantastic, and it's dealing with what a lot of Kieran Gillen does, which is looking at storytelling as a whole. He does that slightly better in Once and Future, with Dan Morrow on the artwork for that one, and that is brilliant. That has been getting better and better. We'll talk about this with a friend of mine. It's a very British comic book, and that comes across like really, really easily. In the latest issue, there's a one sorrow two for Joy thing going on, and apparently Americans didn't get that at all. They didn't even realize that was a British thing. But the story in that one is fantastic. It's playing into the trope which Ahoy Comics has done as well, which is the whole sort of in stories when there's a threat to the universe or the world, it's a bunch of plucky teen you have to do it. What if it's a little old lady instead? This is pretty much what's going on with that, and it's fantastic. It's full on action-packed, brutally violent, and very funny all at the same time. Definitely check that one out. Like I said, Die also very, very cool. And finally, one that I think would have made it in if it wasn't the fact that it was just a one-off hardcover book is Pulp by Ed Brubaker, because it does feel exactly what the title suggests. It's a bunch of ex-cowboys fighting Nazis. It's brilliant. The artwork's exactly what I want it to be. The story's fantastic. The fact that it's a one-off hardback fits in really nicely with the idea of it being a pulp self-contained story as well. And the characterizations are superb. It reminds me a little bit of what actually is my favorite of the year, which I'll get to when I get to it. So those are some ones that didn't quite make it onto the main list for whatever reasons. But starting tomorrow and every day when I'm in work, I'm going to do at least a few minutes on each of the things I've really enjoyed this year. So if you want a bit of a rundown of all that one, keep turning up, hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, tell your friends about it. Because to be honest, if you're a comic book fan, there's a chance you might have missed some of these. And you can then, if something you have liked, you can send this to your friends and say, look, this guy likes it as well. And you're at a comic book store, you can pretend that I know what I'm talking about because of that. Other than that, we have a comment section on these things, apparently. Usually, after I post a video, the first 2 or 3 notifications I get are people spamming me with dating sites and stuff like that, and I'd report them and get them off the feed. It'd be kind of nice, actually, if people have had something like this year. Again, my rules are very much it has to have started this year. It could be a 6-issue miniseries which is started and finished already. That's absolutely fine. Could be something that started last week. That's fine. But if it's like, Immortal Hulk, we all know Immortal Hulk's fantastic. It's been going for years now, though, so that's not really part of the list. But if you have anything that you think deserves to go on there, give me a shout out. Chances are, if it's really, really good, I might already have it on my list. But if not, I can compile a little thing later on and run through some of the suggestions for people who might want to check things out. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll be back tomorrow with just a regular comic book review and number 10 in my best of the year countdown. Bye!